What if the government had access to a technology that could show them our future and change it to their benefit? Sounds like a movie plot. But if you understand that everything in this universe is energy, including your thoughts, your intentions, your attention, then the idea that focused consciousness can influence what happens next isn't that far-fetched. Science has already shown us that the observer affects what is observed. That reality at its most fundamental level responds to attention. So maybe the idea isn't that crazy. And that's exactly where Project Looking Glass comes in. Project Looking Glass is an alleged classified government program that used back-engineered technology that didn't originate with humans, to view probable future timelines. Not to predict the future with certainty, but to see the most likely outcomes based on current conditions. And according to whistleblowers who worked directly with the program, to attempt to manipulate those outcomes. So where did this technology come from? This is where the story gets even more interesting. The technology behind Looking Glass didn't emerge from human ingenuity. According to whistleblowers and researchers, it came through an exchange with non-human intelligences, beings not from Earth, following the Roswell incident in 1947. What crashed in New Mexico wasn't just a craft. It was a contact point. And what was exchanged in the years that followed included technology that operated not through mechanics or fuel, but through consciousness itself. In other words, technology that worked because consciousness and timelines are not separate things. A timeline, simply put, is a probable version of reality. Not one fixed future, but many possible ones, each shaped by the energy and consciousness feeding it. Think of it like a river that splits into multiple streams. Which stream gains momentum depends on what feeds it. Your consciousness is the water. And here's what they discovered when they used it. Timelines are not fixed. The future is not a single predetermined destination. It is a field of probabilities, multiple possible outcomes existing simultaneously, each one weighted by the consciousness feeding it. When operators used Looking Glass to view probable futures, what they were actually doing was reading the field of collective human consciousness and seeing which outcomes that field was most likely to generate. Which means they weren't just observing the future, they were interacting with it, and they believed they could steer it. For decades, that belief held. Certain timelines could be weighted. Certain outcomes could be made more or less probable through carefully managed events, narratives, and the deliberate suppression of human consciousness expansion. But then something changed. Former insiders who worked on the program claimed the cylindrical Looking Glass array could project holographic images of branching timelines. For years, operators ran what-if scenarios on major events, wars, elections, economic shocks, to see how the future would split. But by late 2012, every probable future began collapsing into a single, fixed outcome. According to whistleblowers like Bill Wood, who claimed direct experience with the program, at a certain point the technology stopped showing multiple diverging timelines. Every variable they changed, every manipulation they attempted, all timelines began converging on the same outcome. A shift in human consciousness so fundamental that no external manipulation could redirect it. They saw it coming, and they couldn't stop it. What they were trying to control from the outside, through technology, through suppression, through the careful management of what humanity believed was possible, turned out to be something that lived on the inside, in every human being, the same capacity that made their technology work in the first place. Because here's what Looking Glass actually revealed, even if it wasn't the revelation they were looking for. Consciousness shapes reality. Timelines are not things that happen to you. They are fields of probability that respond to what you hold in your awareness, your intention, your energy. Every choice made from fear feeds one set of possibilities. Every choice made from clarity, from love, from genuine alignment with what you know to be true, feeds another. That technology was always a mirror, a reflection of what human consciousness can do naturally. The technology is not in the machine. It is in you. You are the technology. What you hold in your energetic field influences what materializes in your physical reality, your 3D life. If energy precedes matter, then you are not just a passenger in your own experience. You are the driver. The mechanic's looking glass was built to harness from the outside already exist within you. They needed a machine. You don't. Your attention is not passive. Where you place it, you feed. The thoughts you return to, the emotions you sustain, the frequency you inhabit day to day. These are not just internal experiences. They are active participants in which version of reality becomes yours. What happens when you understand that? When you stop relating to your own energy as something that simply reacts to circumstances and start recognizing it as something that shapes them. That's the question that Looking Glass was really pointing to all along. Not what future is coming, but who is choosing it. They built a machine to find that answer. You were born with it.